Hello. If you're like everybody else, you've probably heard of the coronavirus. Now, let's put things in perspective. The flu just came, pretty much went. It's going to be over soon. It affected 25 million people. Of that, 25,000 died. You could do the math. What's the percentage? Of course, the people who passed away from the flu didn't really pass away from the flu. Usually it's weakened immune systems that cause pneumonia, and that with a weakened immune system or weakened lungs caused the problem. In other words, the actual rate of death from the flu is almost minimal. And the same thing is with the coronavirus. So why is everybody panicking about the coronavirus, and what should we be doing about it? So the answer, of course, is that it's like the Y2K problem. I don't know if you were around in the year 2000. I certainly was. The year 2000, at least for a year straight, the media got onto a story. Now, the media is basically like a mob. A mob, as any psychologist will tell you, is headless. It has no brains. It's a little bit like the Democratic mob, which, nobody exactly knows who's running it because nobody's running it. It's what's called like a herd. A herd is a stampede. Nobody really knows who's in front because everybody's following somebody else. But we just know that we're a group and we're running together. And so when you actually look at the people that are kind of the candidates for president, first of all, they're so different and they're basically all morons. And so suddenly you say, actually, is this a group or is it a mob? Does it have a brain or does it just have running legs? People want to be part of this group. They've actually done studies on this where there's a run on a bank, for example. And then they went to the individuals and said, okay, did you actually think you were going to lose your money? They said no, but everybody else was taking out their money, so we had to as well. In other words, there's a mob mentality, and that is that, well, I'm part of this group, so whatever the group is doing, I have to do as well. Just to back up what I'm saying with statistics, Pew has very deep dive poll into kind of the American political scene, and whereas only 6% of Republicans can be quote unquote considered in the mob mentality, like what they would call consistently conservative, 17% of liberals are the mob mentality. So this is a real figure. This is not just a made up concept. This is real. But the problem is that the media also is a mob. And basically, again, a mob is a group. We operate by certain concepts. We self-identify. And then these kind of ideas, if you want to call it a virus, these concepts, whether positive or negative, creep in. And suddenly, this is how we think, and nobody wants to go against the we. And so, what is the media mob telling you about coronavirus? Well, as my daughter, a very clever daughter, said, if it bleeds, it reads. So the media is going to tell you everything negative possible about the coronavirus because it has two factors. The first factor is that it's new. So it's something to talk about, like the Y2K problem was something new. Second factor is that it bleeds, meaning it's possible danger, possible catastrophe. It reads because people are addicted to safety and fear. But what is the actual fact? What is actually going to happen? So first of all, I have some very good news for you, that the Mashiach, the long-awaited Messiah, based on all the great rabbis, the Kabbalists, people that really, the top of the top in the Jewish world are saying is about to come. And this is just a final little phase before it. So it's going to be really good. The prediction is that the Mashiach will come in the month of Nisan. We are about the 18th day of the month of, in the month of Adar. So that's about 12 days away in the month of Nisan before Passover. That's 14 days. We're literally right before the complete messianic redemption where everybody gets better, everybody gets healthy. And I think that part of the coronavirus, anyway, I don't want to get too mystical on you. I just want to go into kind of the bottom line. Bottom line is what's going to actually happen with the coronavirus. Well, the country that had it was China. The country that went through the cycle was China. And I just heard from one of our rabbis in China that actually it's pretty much ended in China. It's just like the flu. It comes and it goes. And so, does that mean you shouldn't take precautions? No, it means you should take precautions, but don't be part of the mob. And this, I think, is the most important lesson in life. Do you identify, how do you self-identify? Who do you feel is your group? Because if you self-identify with people, then you automatically assume that what they're saying is true. Not because you believe what they're saying is true, but you don't want to be outside of the group. And so maybe the coronavirus, which is forcing people or self-choosing people to stay inside a little bit, maybe it's time to start to think, does my group actually have a brain?